What's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, and I thought this was the perfect time to start them back up. So much has been happening, right? Between the WNBA free agency, Unrivaled is kicking off, and it has been an amazing product that has been put out for us to watch some of our favorite WNBA stars going head to head. Um, Athletes Unlimited is starting up here soon as well. I know that they have started practicing and meeting up, so that's another avenue where we get to watch some of our favorite players play basketball, right? And then obviously it is the NCAA women's basketball time, and the games have been so good. So good. The quality of basketball that's been put out has been amazing, and women's basketball is at a different level that we've all wanted it to be at, but can't believe that it's here, right? So we're going to start with the WNBA free agency. And it has been so much happening that it's kind of hard to keep up with it. Um, and it's like my phone is going off with different avenues, and then ESPN blowing up my phone, and we're watching the draft on ESPN on TV, and Ogumake gets a call saying that NECA has chose to re-sign with Seattle, um, which I love. Obviously, I'm here in Washington State at the moment, and I believe that Seattle is a great product, right? They have everything that the players want right now with their facilities, taking care of their players. They have a great ownership. And yes, we all know that there was a lot of turmoil during this off season with an investigation and all of that stuff. And obviously, it turned out to be nothing, and that's a good thing. And obviously that means that it's good if NECA is deciding to stay. And I love that duo between NECA and with Skylar Diggins, who they're very, very good friends. And the talent that's around them, the young talent, is great. Um, I think that the craziest thing that has surprised us all with the free agency is that there was a lot of players who left teams that they've been on the entire career, right? It was crazy years ago when Candace left LA and went to Chicago, right? That was something that no one really saw coming until it was like about to happen. Or NECA leaving LA to go to Seattle. It just shocked everyone. So some of these moves, like we kind of figured it was gonna come, it was gonna happen, but wasn't sure. So I think some of the bigger one is BG leaving Phoenix to go to Atlanta. And we know that right now in Phoenix, Diana Taurasi hasn't come out saying if she's going to retire or if she's going to play again. So maybe they kind of wait into BG leaving, maybe. But with BG leaving Phoenix, right now, it was a trade with. So now Alyssa Thomas is also going to Phoenix, um, and the craziest part is the fact that Alyssa Thomas, who's someone who was been with Connecticut this so long, is now leaving and going to Phoenix. And then Phoenix also just coming in, Dallas Wings traded Satu Sabali to Phoenix Mercury, which the offset of Phoenix losing BG, right? And now they're getting Satu Sabali, and then they get Alyssa Thomas, right? And then you still have Kalia Copper there. That was something. I think that's a very good core for them. And unfortunately, Phoenix ends up losing Natasha Cloud and Rebecca Allen, who are now going to Connecticut. Um, I think that's some very good pickups for Connecticut. Natasha Cloud has her game has definitely evolved. We all know her as a very good defender, but her offensive game has really evolved. Her 3-point shooting, and then we already know Rebecca Allen can definitely hit the three. So Connecticut is trying to build after losing Alyssa Thomas, and now they've also just lost Brianna Jones, who is going to join BG in Atlanta. The Atlanta has really made a tidal wave in this free agency because with them getting BG and Brianna Jones, that gives them like seven, like maybe eight or nine post players, right? You have six, seven forwards, possibly to have two legit centers. That team has the depth to really hurt a team when it comes to the post players. Because the post play in the WNBA is very important. Some your best players in the WNBA are your forwards, right? You have the Asia Wilsons, and then you have the Nneka Ogwumike's, right? And then even when you're looking at Chicago, you have Angel Reese as a forward and Camila Cardoso as a center, right? So now you have Atlanta who can battle with them because they have more depth, so they can throw about more bodies at them, right? Seattle has Ezzy Magnabor as their center and Nneka Ogwumike as their forward. Atlanta now has bodies to throw at them, different bodies, fresh legs to throw at them with the depth of their post play. Do they keep all of those post players? I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see how everything goes. But at the moment, Atlanta is looking like real contenders. The only thing about questioning whether or not Atlanta is contenders is the fact that they also have a new head coach, right? They got the coach from Florida Gulf Coast, right? So he's a college coach. He has to come in and learn the WNBA rules, how to coach these players, the different changing up the plays, and just understanding and getting a relationship with the players. Luckily, he has a very senior squad. It's not a lot of young players on the team. So I think he will be able to come in and do good, but I do think that is the downside of Atlanta at the moment. Is not because of their depth, but it's just because of their coaching staff has changed. The the biggest trades that kind of like started this craziness of the WNBA's free agency was the swapping, the 3-team trade deal with Vegas, Seattle, and LA. Right? We know Kelsey Plum is leaving Vegas, and she will now be joining the Los Angeles Sparks, joining a team that has a mix of young players and veterans, with Dearica Hamby and Kelsey Plum, and then you have Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson. That is a strong starting five, right? They just have to find another piece. Do I think that Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, and Dearica Hamby will all start together? I don't think so. I don't think that they should. Just because all three of those players are depth for each other, right? So they still have to find that guard that they can put in that position, to start alongside them. Maybe starting with Kelsey Plum, an actual point guard, to kind of have Kelsey Plum working off the ball a little bit more. So we'll see. We'll see what LA does with this, right? But then you have Jewel Lloyd, who left Seattle, which we kind of knew was going to happen because of everything that happened this off season, leaving Seattle, going to Vegas, which kind of gives Vegas the same position they were in, kind of, just because they lost a guard. They lost a key part in their offense. Their starting five, like they lost one of the heartbeats of that squad. And now you have to insert Jewel Lloyd, which can be done, but to me, Kelsey Plum and Jewel Lloyd are different players. Um, Jewel Lloyd has been on a team for a few years now where she has had to carry the load. So now going to a team where she will nowhere be anywhere close to carrying the load will be a change for her, right? The team aces are the aces. Like they have a solid core and a solid team, right? So whoever comes to their team has to figure out how they fit into their core and not the aces trying to figure out how this new player has to fit into their core. So I think it'll be more of a challenge for Jewel than anything else. But Becky Hammond, as we know, is a very, very good coach. Um, we saw Natasha Howard is returning to Indiana, which we all know Indiana was the first team to draft Natasha Howard, and we know she's bounced, right? She's been to Seattle. You know, she won championships in Seattle. She was in New York, so she's bounced around the league, and so to come back to the team that drafted her kind of says something, right? And obviously, the Indiana now is not the same Indiana who drafted her, right? And Indiana also got to keep their main player, the pretty much the heartbeat of their team, which is Kelsey Mitchell. And I know everyone was like, oh, they have their new main player is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark isn't there yet, right? She's not there to 100% lead a WNBA franchise. She is definitely the face of that WNBA franchise to the rest of the world or to the media. But in Indiana, Kelsey Mitchell is everything, right? She has given her all to this organization. For them to be able to re-sign her and keep her, that says a lot about that organization. Um, I think that's like all of like the big key moves, right? With some of these trades, you have a lot of like other players who kind of got thrown in there, but it was kind of like on the second to third paragraph of the whole release. But this free agency will make this upcoming season so much more exciting because we want to see these faces that we've grown to love wearing these uniforms. Now we have to get used to these faces wearing different uniforms. Never would we have thought that we would see Brittany Griner no longer in a Phoenix Mercury jersey. Like, that's crazy. And even when it comes to Thomas leaving Connecticut, like, this is a lot that we have to get used to. We have to get used to all of this, and it's to keep us on our toes. And it's so good for the W, because it shows that no matter what changes the W gets thrown, they're going to continue to put an amazing product out on that floor and show everyone that this league is for real and they are here to stay. And I think I'm like so much more excited to watch this upcoming season than any other season just because of all of the changes. Um, and we're going to be going through this roller coaster together. I still feel a few more decisions happening. I think we're still waiting on a few people to decide of whether they're going to stay in the league or if they're going to retire. And the same with, are some players going to choose to get drafted to another place, or are they going to choose to stay where they currently are? So this free agency isn't over yet, right? It's still a lot of pieces on the board that still need to be either moved or kept in place with new deals. So I'm going to try to keep you guys as updated as possible. And we're going to keep going through this thing. But I want to say thank you guys for supporting me, for everyone who is still sticking around. And I'm sure eventually I'll tell you guys about the craziness my life has been going through and, trying to get back to do the channel. But life is life and we got to work and we got to keep going, right? So thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about next. Drop some questions in on how I feel about different things, and I'll get back to you guys in the next video. So peace, love, happiness.